I'm not a failure. My idea may have failed. My project may have failed. The relationship may have failed. But I haven't failed. Not everything goes the way I imagined. And that can really sting. I acknowledge the blow to my ego, my confidence, and my pride. Yeah, I can consider where I went wrong. Because I've learned way more when I've tripped and fallen than when I've never fallen at all. I've learned more when the recipe didn't work than when it did. But I'll remember to consider what went right, too. I can think through my choices. I can think through why I made those choices. And I can put a plan in place for taking care of myself when I feel bummed out. I also manage not making this bigger in my head than it is in reality, because I'm not the first person to fail at something. I remember Thomas Edison said he found 10,000 ways that didn't work before he finally invented the light bulb. Life's journey includes trying, learning, and figuring things out. I tried, and I give myself credit for that. There's no shame in trying. Failure is learning. Failure is part of the process. Failure doesn't define me. And while we're at it, success doesn't define me either. I make time to write out what I've learned. I create space to reconnect with who I truly am. Bouncing back may take time, but it's up to me how much time it will take. This is a great opportunity to give myself self-care and not self-hate. The timing is good to befriend myself and not criticize myself. Comparing myself to others doesn't help, because we hear far more about the success stories than the failure stories. So I make time to look at the lesson. It may be a painful lesson. It might be an expensive lesson. It could be both an expensive and a painful lesson. But why don't I redefine it as a twist, as a turn, as a lesson, as a pivot, as a detour, as an adjustment, as a part of life, as information, as feedback, as progress, as preparation, as experience, as training, as education, as evolution. And when I'm ready to take my first step in the next step, I remember my strengths, I remember my experiences, I remember my goals, I remember my lessons, I remember my skills. I apply my strengths, I apply my experiences, I apply my goals, I apply my lessons, I apply my skills, all while I take care of me.